Well, I'll tell you this. Of course, Miami bass has a future. The reason why, eh, back then, you couldn't put bass in music, okay? Because the only stuff was coming out of was New York, okay? So as far as street music, hip hop, it was out of New York, and it was all about Jeep beats, okay? And bass music, you can forget about that. But yeah, so yeah, they wouldn't have any of it, and our only dictators of music at that time was the New York region, and so they wouldn't have anything to do with bass. But after Bass Rock Express, it was like, okay, that was a fluke. Then Bass Mechanic, and these records were so hot at the time. It was like, okay, something's up here with this bass thing, this bass idea. What's really going on with that? And then other people start jumping on the bandwagon, just making bass records, and you know that's what promoted that. But then the sound, the actual thing that people like myself, why I did it, why I got into it, and why I was inspired to do bass music was because of the love of the bass sound. Now the world understands that love for the bass sound. So bass is in all music, gospel, R&B, whatever. You hear bass in it, and it ain't going nowhere. Cause once you know, you feel that warm bass, drum just, hitting your body. You gonna love it. You know what I'm saying? It's like a massage. What I'm saying? I used to love to go in the studio and just crank it up. You know what I'm saying? Crank up them 215s or 415s in the studio and just sit back in the corner and just hear it throb. You know what I'm saying? And that feeling, it's just beautiful. Situations. More so, it was about what you could put in the palm, and people got paid, and records got played. you know.
There it is.
Yeah.
Anything bad came out of that? Anything bad? Sometimes when you get involved in something like that, something, because that world is, it's always. I strongly believe that, you have a product, you have to market it, you have to put money behind it, and that's the only way your product is really gonna emerge. And that's what this project as well. For us to emerge bass music, we're gonna have to do some large investments for this thing to really take over the market. So,
My thing is, like I said, when people speak of bass music, to me, I have a total different concept of bass music. My thing is, because when this thing started, there was no bass in the music like that. It could have been some songs out there, what have you, but that wasn't what was popular or what was happening. It was, like I said, as far as in hip hop and that street music, it was Jeep beats. So to me, uh, it was just about music with bass in it. No matter what kind of music it was just, as long as it had that bass tone in it. So when people say, well, they want to genreize bass music and say it's this or some booty bass or it was, this and that, I don't see it like that. That wasn't my intentions behind it. When I started this thing, it wasn't had nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? Because that didn't even exist. And Bass Rock Express is not even that kind of record. You know what I'm saying? Bass Mechanic, it's not that kind of record. These were, my inspiration from Bass Mechanic was because of school bands. You know what I'm saying? It was like, of a school band, and, accented with the bass. So the bass was whatever you put it into, whatever music. So when I look at bass music, it's just the accentuation of a bass tone inside of music, but knowing that bass is there. I remember when I went to New York one time, and I had a record on the radio, and it was in hot five or what have you, and I had a show up there, and I think who was it? Buster Rhymes. I guess he was with leaders of the new school back then, and
The radio station might have been Hot 97. That was a major hip hop radio
probably
station.
probably so.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it tripped me out while we was in the station getting ready to do the interview. They were playing Bass Rock Express as the bed, far as for the commercials. Um, but when I got ready to go to I went to do the concert. It was called Hardcore Hip Hop, some warehouse. Um, and it was big warehouse, a lot of people. And I messed around and so I get ready to go on stage, and the dude, one of the dudes said, "Yo, you finna go on stage?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he was like, "You going up by yourself?" Well, my DJ, he came to me and he said, Vincent Sims. He said, "Yo, I can go up in the booth with Clark Kent, because Clark Kent was up in the DJ booth." He said, "Well, I can go up there," and I gave him the option. I said, "Well, you can go on stage, or you can, go in the booth." And he opted out because it was a hard crowd. You know what I'm saying? So he opted out, went in the booth, no problem. So I went on stage, and well, before I went on stage, this other guy, he was like, "You going up there?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "You going up by yourself?" I'm like, "Yeah." What's the deal? Well, it was MTV was shooting this birthday party or something for Ed Lover and Dre, and so I went on stage. Well, before I went on stage, D Nice introduced me, and he was a sucker for what he did, because he said, MCADE from Miami or something, and at that time, you know what I'm saying, they had this genre of us, bass music, booty music, this understanding of us, should I say, that we were on this level, less than them, yada yada, So he kind of played me when he introduced me, So the crowd went to booing me, and I'm like, you know, I'm from Liberty City, okay? So I went on stage and I'm like, you know, none of y'all even know me. You understand what I'm saying? So I was like, so it kind of got something in me, it got my goat. And I'm like, so I grabbed the mic, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, it just made me want to focus or project more, that now I had to represent. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't even all about that for me, but I found myself saying, I'm from the bottom. And in the bottom, we like bass. And y'all like what y'all like, but tonight I'm gonna show y'all how we do it. Kick that beat, DJ, and dibba dibba dibba, and threw the song on. They didn't even know, you know what I'm saying, that the song they was listening to, you know what I'm saying, because it was like hip hop out, with some bass in it, but me rapping over it. It was hot on this station. They didn't even know, and they threw the song on, and the crowd got with me, and I'm rocking the crowd. You know what I'm saying? And it was cool. It was a good experience.